Make some noise for the incredible Judith Hoag.
Ow!
Yes, they should. Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm marveling. Hi, I don't know if I need to. Hello, I don't even know it's on. You can hear me without this.
Well, it would.
It would help.
It'll help. Thank you so much.
Also, if we're recording.
Yes.
This whole theater, our green room that used to be the House of Blues, is so beautiful. I keep walking around going, why is this not being used as a venue? It's astonishing to me.
Well, much to our luck that we get it as a green room and a panel room, right?
We're loving it. How are you?
I'm doing great. Much to my luck, I'm sitting here with Judith Hoag, and you've been a hero of mine since I was a little kid.
Aww.
So I've always wanted to, I always like to ask people who their heroes were growing up. Who inspired you to get into acting?
That's easy. Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball. So I'm a child of the 70s. Mary Tyler Moore.
Yes.
I also, who else? I think those are the main ones. Because I really wanted to be an actress when I was little. And I just thought that their work and how they were in the business, I thought, I want to be like that.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I could almost see a little Mary Tyler Moore now and April O'Neil. Now that I think about it,
can turn the world down with her smile.
I love it. So another film I have to ask about that also came out in 1990 is The Incredible Cadillac Man with Robin Williams. I love this. It's like such an absolute gem of a movie. So are there any stories, memories from that?
Yeah, Cadillac Man, I made some good friends from that. Robin Williams being one of it, Fran Drescher being another one. And I was a huge fan. If you've ever seen Spinal Tap, she played Bobby Fleckman, and she was hilarious. And so I came in as a fan of those two, and we had such a fun time doing that. And it was really during that movie I had gotten Ninja Turtles, and it was Robin Williams who... He was like, so we were shooting in New York. We were shooting in Queens in a car dealership. And we shot Monday through Friday. And I got Ninja Turtles, and I would have to fly on Fridays to Wilmington, North Carolina. And then we would do pre-production and just a little tiny bit of shooting. Like if I had a day off, like if I had a Monday off, then we could shoot on Monday. And then I'd hop in a plane and come back to New York. And so I was always like racing out of work on Fridays. And Robin looked at me one day and he's like, where are you going? Like, we all want to be in the movie. Where are you going? And I was like, oh, trust me, I want to be in this movie. I said, but I'm in pre-production for another movie. And he said, well, what's the movie? And at the time, I had no context really for Ninja Turtles. I had never seen the cartoon, because at that point, I didn't even know it existed. I knew it was a comic book, but I had never actually seen the comic book. And I was just kind of like, nobody knows what, my assumption was, nobody knows what this is. This is a little embarrassing. And I said, I'm doing this movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he went, what? And I said, it's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he went, you're kidding. I have the very first comic book. I have every single Ninja Turtle comic book. And he said, are you April? And I said, yeah, I am. And he was like, that is the coolest thing ever. And so he kind of gave me my street cred about it. He was really helpful in helping me get out of work early on Friday. She's got to go. She's got to shoot a movie. And then when the film premiered at Universal Studios in LA, he flew down from San Francisco with his family to come to the premiere, which meant the world to me. I mean, this was like my third movie. Yeah. And he was really inspiring and taught me a lot.
Oh my God, that is an incredible story. So since we're on the Ninja Turtles front now, one thing that I've always found interesting about the movie is I feel like Ninja Turtles is the moment in time that New Line Cinema went from being just the house that Freddie built to being a powerhouse in Hollywood. So are there any New Line stories making? Did it feel like you were on a big studio movie, or did it feel like New Line was still kind of underground? And
No. No, it did not feel like a big studio movie. I was doing a big studio movie, so Cadillac
Man was, yes, of course.
And no, Ninja Turtles was very much like a guerrilla movie. You know, like we were going fast, we were going furious, we were working 6 days a week. We had a first unit and a second unit. Brian Henson from the Creature Shop, Jim Henson's son, was the second unit director. He was also in charge of the Creature Shop. And so we were going crazy. At the time, New Line, they came in, as far as I know, when we were shooting the movie, New Line hadn't been attached to distribution. At that point, it was just Golden Harvest. I could be wrong.
That's right.
But I think it was just Golden Harvest, and they made their own LLC for the movie. And it was after, when the movie was finished, that they bought the distribution rights and then, kicked in money for promotion. But we had no idea. Like, it was not... We were like, we're just making this movie. Hopefully people will come and see it. And they did, but it was a shocker because they had screened the movie for all the executives. And at Paramount, I believe is where they did it. And nobody laughed, and nobody clapped, and nobody got it. And they were like, what is this dark little movie for kids? And so the producers left, like, demoralized, thinking, okay, we'll never make another movie again. This is the end of our career. And so the day that the film premiered, they drove around LA, like right around movie time, just to see, and it was playing on a lot of screens. And back then, there was like movie theaters everywhere, not like today. And they saw these lines, these like long lines heading out of the front of the theater, down the block, around the corner. And they were like, thank God. And it ended up being, at that time, I think for 1990, it was in the top 10 grossing films of the year. We were like ahead of Red October and a few other like big, I think Die Hard 2 was happening. I think we were, might have been ahead of them. And, but it was the highest grossing independent film. I don't remember who knocked us out of that, but
probably My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I would think.
Yes, it was My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yeah. And it kind of put New Line on the block, and it also served notice to the film community that independent filmmaking was viable, and that you could do it and you could make money. And Hollywood loves making money.
That is true. They are not averse to making money. Well, another property you were on that I think made more than its money back is The Incredible Quantum Leap, one of my favorite shows.
Oh my gosh!
Any stories
Scott
and memories?
Bakula.
God,
well, I just did one episode, so it was a story about a guy who would time travel. And what was his partner in that?
Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell, who's an amazing actor. He, God, I loved him. He was in, what was it? The David Lynch film, Blue Velvet. Yeah. He was so good. That was funny because that was one of Jennifer Aniston's first jobs in Hollywood. So if you go back and you watch the episode, hi everybody, she's in it. And it was so much fun. I was fortunate in that I just kind of worked on everything.
You have been in an absurd amount of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really have to pick the ones because I don't want to hog the mic too much from the audience. And I see the room filling up, and I do want to reiterate again, if you guys want to, anytime you want questions, we got a mic there. If you want to raise your hand, please don't be shy. This is your panel. But no run of the 90s and TV would be complete without a stop on Roseanne. I have to ask about that as well.
That was a crazy job. So I had been hired to play Sandra Bernhardt's lover.
That's right.
And I was really excited. It was like, oh, because Roseanne was a massive hit. And I was really excited. And I did the first episode, and I was contracted to do several more. They were going to see what would happen with the character development and everything. And Roseanne and Sandra were really good friends. And they went to some benefit, and Morgan Fairchild was there. And they were like, oh, she'd be perfect as your girlfriend. We should just have Morgan Fairchild do this. And I got a call. This is Hollywood, folks. Got a call saying, we're so sorry. Morgan Fairchild is stepping into the role. We will pay you for your episodes that we said that we would, but you don't have the job anymore. And I was like, what happened? They thought it was such a funny sight gag with Morgan Fairchild, who's like so coiffed and done, and Sandra Bernhardt, who is not so coiffed and done. And I was like, one of the things about being an actor and being in this business is that, it's tough. Things happen. Like Ninja Turtles got fired from that. After the first one, Steve Barron, the director, was fired. I was fired. A bunch of people were let go of. And it's kind of like if you want to play in the big leagues, you've got to really have big cojones to do it. Because it's a lot, it's really challenging, and people play rough. And so that's how you build up your rhino skin when stuff like that happens.
I love that. It's like a Ninja Turtles mutation kind of thing.
Yeah.
With that. I have to ask, you've done so many great shows for HBO, but I believe the first one was the greatest show ever made, Dream On. With Brian Ben.
So, wow, yes.
I want that show to come back. That should be on HBO Max. I know it must be rights issues with the clips, but such a great show.
That could be it.
Any memories of that
was a great show. And at the time, it was a big, people loved that show. And it was huge, really like the start of HBO's,
their first original show, I think.
Yeah. So much fun. I had so much fun. I'm trying to remember, what's his name?
Brian Ben.
Brian Ben, who was married to I've got her confused with Dances with Wolves. His wife was in The Last of the Mohicans. Such a beautiful actress.
I haven't seen Last of the Mohicans since '92.
Done that movie, I think, before we worked together. And so I was excited to work with him, but I wanted to know all about her because she was fascinating to me. She was beautiful and she was talented. And I just wanted to know everything about her. But that was fun.
That's very fitting too, because that's the character on the show. It's like people were like, oh, what's good with the Judith,
Right, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So again, another 90s classic. Have to ask about Melrose Place.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I had so many friends on Melrose Place. So Thomas Calabro, who played the Dr. Michael, an old friend, he was actually, I dated him, and then he came to my wedding, and then he got divorced, and then he got remarried. Hollywood is a bit of a incestuous pool of people, because honestly, it's not that big of a town. And if you've been in the business for any amount of time, everybody kind of meets each other. And that's why doing Comic-Cons is sort of fun, because not sort of fun, it's a lot of fun. But we've all, not all of us, but in many ways, our careers have intersected, and we've maybe met or worked together or admired each other, and it's a great opportunity to connect and tell stories and stuff like that. So Melrose Place was such a crazy hit, and there were so many people who came up through that show. My dear friend Luke Perry did Beverly Hills 90210. And, that was the whole Aaron Spelling phenomenon. And then, Heather Locklear was another person who was really big on that show, and got to work with her years later. Loved her. Rooting for her. I know she's had kind of a little bit of a rough road. So
has she? Oh.
Yeah, I think she had a few things happen. Yeah, but she's awesome.
Some people have the Teflon, thing where nothing sticks, right? I think Heather might have a little bit of that. So another, classic. I just have to ask, of course, about Armageddon.
Armageddon. I loved working with Michael Bay, and I did Nightmare on Elm Street for him. Right. I did, so Jerry Bruckheimer was the executive producer for that, and did a couple of things for him after that as well. Armageddon was one of these crazy jobs where I had gone in and met with Michael Bay, and the feedback that I got from my agent was, you're in the mix. And so what you're in the mix means is there's a small group of maybe 2-3 actresses that they're considering for the part, and they'll get back to you if you get the part. So a month went by, and I did not give it another thought. It was like, oh, I guess I didn't get that job. I get a call at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and they say, it's my agents, and they say, you got the job, and you have a fitting tonight at 8:00, and you have to be on set tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. in Long Beach, which is like an hour or so from my house. So if I have to be there at 5, I'm getting up between 2:30 and 3, and they said they'll give you your script at the fitting. So I wasn't even going to get the script until like 8:00 that night. Okay, if you haven't seen Armageddon, it's about the end of the world. And as an actor, you might want a little time to do some homework about the end of the world and learn your lines and just know what the whole story is, because that was during a time when scripts got very secretive. So they would not give you a script. They would just give you your pages, which are called sides. And they gave me my sides for the audition, and fortunately I hung on to them. Normally I just toss them, but I was in the mix, so I hung on to them. So I get to my fitting that night. There's no script. I'm like, this is like, the actor, any nightmare dream that you have, like, for the actor's nightmare, the recurring dream is that you get to work, somebody hands you a script, you can't read it, and they go, you're on. And so it's an anxiety dream. And I used to have them when I was a waitress as well. Like, I couldn't ever find my tables, or I got lost in a freezer or something like that. And so I was like, oh my God. I'm about to do this massive movie, which at the time was the most expensive movie ever made. It was $120 million, which is nothing compared to what they do now. But then the most expensive, with Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Liv Ullmann. I mean, the list went on, and it was like, I don't even have a script. So it was like, just look at your sides, relax, and try to get a good night's sleep. I barely slept. Got up because you're afraid you're going to oversleep, and I got to drive to Long Beach. I get there. They hand me this thick script and immediately put me into the works. Now, the works is you got to go through hair and makeup. So they're doing my hair, they're doing my makeup. I'm trying to look at the script, but you kind of can't because you got to keep your face up. And, it was so crazy. And then I step out of the makeup trailer, and Michael is there, and he looks at me and he goes, glamour up, man. And I was like, okay. They bring me back in to glam me up. So I'm now a little bit starting to panic because I haven't read the script. I need to be more glamorous, which I translated in my head as like, you're not pretty enough for this part. And I've got to start shooting. I go in to shoot, and I guess there was a lot of tension on the set that day. And the crew was being cantankerous. And so they kind of started taunting me a little bit. I don't know why. And it was just a situation where it was like, oh my God, everything about this feels so hard and is so upsetting. And I need to like show up. I have a job to do here. So I went back to my trailer. Oh, I had a moment because Will Patton played my husband. And I saw him and he looked like a deer in the headlights too. And I went, hi, I'm your wife. Hi. And he went, oh God. And he wrapped me in a hug and he was like, when did you get the job? And I said, last night. And he said, yeah, me too. And he was like, I said, have you read the script? He said, yeah. I said, well, then you're ahead of me because I still haven't even read the script. And so we were like, okay, well, let's look at each other like, okay, we talked a little bit. And then it was like, they took him in one direction, me in another direction. And I got into my trailer and I sat down and I went, okay, this is a do or die moment for you. You could go up in flames right now. And you could tell the story about how hard it was and everything didn't work and they were mean to you and blah, 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 blah. And everyone would go, oh, that's oh man, Hollywood, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. Or you could do the job that you were hired to do. You could take all of this and put it over here and just focus on why are you here. And I said, all right, I'm going to do that because that feels better. Because if I blow this opportunity, I'm personally going to be upset with myself. So I just started talking story, and it was like, what's happening? It's the end of the world. That's my beautiful little 6-year-old son. I'm never going to see him grow up to be a man. I'm never going to see him graduate from high school. I'm never going to see the person that he becomes. I'm never going to fall in love again. I'm never going to be kissed again. Oh, I'm never going to see my parents. Oh, like I just started talking the story and I could climb in because my job is to be a storyteller, not to be in my head because I feel disrespected or not beautiful enough or any of that stuff. My job is to be creative and tell stories. So I did it. And the day went okay, and then we had the next day, and that went okay. And I was really only supposed to work 2 days. Well, they called me back for the next 4 months over, and they kept writing stuff for me. And I go, we're done, we've wrapped, and I go to the wrap party screening. It's not the wrap party, it was a screening. And Jerry Bruckheimer was there. Now, Jerry Bruckheimer is a massive producer. He's not really doing much anymore, I think, because I don't even know what he's doing.
He ran the table for 30 years. I think he's good. He
ran the table for 30 years. It was Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, Days of Thunder. I mean, they did everything.
The Hills Cop, yeah.
Yeah, and I went up to him and I introduced myself because I was trying to make sure I'm meeting everybody. And I said, hi, I'm Judith. And he said, oh, I know who you are. And I said, oh. And I said, well, of course you do. You've seen this movie. And he's like, oh, no. He's like, every time I see this movie, you make me cry. And he said, thank you so much for being the heart of that story, of our family, Will Patton's character, my character. He was like, you killed it. And although he didn't say that, he said something very flattering. I don't remember what it was, but I remember going, oh. And it was a big, important moment for me as an artist because being in the entertainment business, or really any business, there's so many things that are competing for your attention. There's so many things that can throw you out of the pool and into the bushes and keep you from doing what you want to do. And particularly as an artist, because it's a really challenging industry and business, to just focus on like, why are you there and what are you doing? It will bring you to the place that you want to be. And I think that's how you get recognized. Not that the point is to be recognized, but to be recognized, and it helps move you along in your career.
Wow, that is an absolutely incredible story. Thank you so much. I know we're running a little short on time. Okay. We do have an audience question though. Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
Hi.
I want to let us know, we'll get to Halloween Town briefly.
Okay.
Yes.
For Halloween Town, which one is your favorite film, and what was your favorite scene in a Halloween?
Okay. I think my favorite to film was the third movie. And the reason was, by then my character had evolved into actually doing magic and being more of the kind of mom who was invested in her kids and back into the magical world. My favorite scene, I think, is with Debbie Reynolds in the first movie when we're all sitting around the table and we're chatting together. And the reason it's so special to me is that was our first day of shooting. She sweeps into I did the movie because Debbie Reynolds was doing the movie. And I was such a fan. And at the time, nobody really knew what the Disney Channel was. I loved the idea of playing a witch. And being in a witch family, but I really wanted to work with her. And she sweeps into the room, and she's like, "Hello, everybody. I'm Princess Leia's mother." And I'm like, "What?" And I look at her and I go, "Uh-huh. And you're Debbie Reynolds." And she's like, "Ah, yes, and that too." And that was so her. She was such a cool woman and funny, and she had so many stories, and she taught me so much. I love her and miss her, and so that would probably be my favorite. But there's a whole nother long story attached to my first day of work there too.
Well, I will say
pretty rough.
I had the pleasure of sitting down with Kimberly Brown and discussing Halloween, and she absolutely sung your praises as well as Debbie Brown. She's like, I worked with the two greatest women in the world. That's what happened for me, you know.
Yeah, Kim and I are still really good friends.
She's awesome.
I love her so much. It has been so much fun to watch her grow up into the woman that she is and to stay really connected to her. And we both are we love to tell Debbie's stories when we're together.
She's got some good ones,
too. Yeah, she's got some good ones. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we are running on time, guys. If you do have time for maybe one more audience question, if everyone's no one's too shy. All right. Well.
No.
All right. He's got one more then. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go to first Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Who's your favorite?
Okay. Well, I have two answers for that. So Judith likes them all because I had such a good relationship with each one of them, and they hold an incredibly special place in my heart. And also it's kind of like asking, which is your favorite child, right? But I think April would say that Raph was her favorite because he saved me. So those are my two answers.
I thought for sure you were going to be like Casey Jones.
Love Elias.
Yeah.
Love.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're still friends. All of us in the film
He's
are still friends.
He's done a lot of HBO stuff too.
He has. I cannot get him to a Comic-Con for the life of me.
Oh.
I think it would kill him.
Keep chipping away at him because that's another panel I'd love to do.
Hell will freeze. When that happens.
Well, I will be there with a parka on, enjoying.
There you go. I know. Me too. I'll be like, yay, we're in hell.
All right, guys. Well, it's been like being in heaven here, sitting talking to you. So, guys, make some noise for the incredible Judith Hoag.
You guys, thank you, thank you.
Be sure to stop by her table if you haven't already. I know she's got a million and one more stories. And thank you so much again.
Bye, you guys.
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.